one memory that I can think of Sydney, when she was in kindergarten, she'd come home every day, and in her bath she'd sing, and she had Carlene Williams as her teacher. I think Jake was the only other senior that had her, and she would say, listen to my song, Mom. She'd sing and stop for long enough. You know, Sydney today, she'd be mortified if you said, sing me a song, Sydney. She'd sing, he's still working on me to make me what I ought to be. It took him just a week to make the moon and the stars, the sun and the earth and Jupiter and Mars. How patient he must be. He's still working on me. Precious. Now if she can remember that song, it'll help her through her life, because he's still working on all of us.
One of my favorite memories of Sid, I guess, was the first time we went fishing. I guess she was 3, and pretty quick we caught a nice little perch or something, and she was just beaming from ear to ear, just really having fun with it. Another one, she was probably about that age. She had one of these battery-powered Jeeps, and we had put it on low because she was pretty young. But one Saturday afternoon, I decided to put it up on high for her, and she, when we got it in high gear, she was going around the house just kind of squealing, wee, you know, all the way around the house a couple times.
She doesn't drive like that now.
Yeah.
God did good when he made Sydney. But one of her best character traits that I think is amazing is she's very content in every aspect of her life. You know, Sydney's, you know, that's the way God made me, Mom, and that's just, you know, how it is. She's precious, and that'll serve her well in life, because some adults I know, myself included, you just never get that. That's a God-given thing.
She's always been happy, even if she was sick. She was always
joyful.
She's never hard to deal with, you know. She's just always content and happy, and she's just a good kid. Always has been.
Thankful for that. She's very diligent. She's an amazing student. Very task-oriented. Very, this is what you do. She's going to do it. Do you agree?
Yeah, she's when she has homework to do, she goes in there and starts doing it. She's put in a lot of time. I guess hard worker. You know, she's put a lot of time in on studying and making good grades. She's kind of a self-starter that way, I guess.
Very much so.
I'd say, words of wisdom wise, she just keep being who you are. I think she's set pretty good that way.
Yep. Continue to be a prayer warrior. She's, you know, awesome. She learned that here at school. I mean, that's every day, but it's in her heart. The Lord's word's in her heart, and she just go back to it, Sid. Always fall back on it.
Probably the most influential people in my life would probably have to be my parents. They are always there for me no matter what, and they love me unconditionally, and the way that I see them work so hard every day to provide for our family has taught me so much, and I just love them. My favorite memory was probably outside of school. It was a few years ago when my family and I went to Dauphin Island, Alabama. It was the first time I had ever been to the beach, and it was just very secluded and kind of, you know, off the grid and by yourself, and it was just really beautiful and it was fun. I would like to thank for my successes probably my parents again, because they always push me to do my best and help me in any way they can. And I'd also like to thank any teachers that I have now and in the past. They've helped me out with anything that I ever needed and pushed me to do my best work. A teacher that probably sticks out to me would either be Mrs. Bart or Mr. Martin. They were both so awesome and really easy to talk to and taught me a lot. One of the biggest achievements I think that I've had this year is getting through speech class with an okay grade, because public speaking is, to say the least, not my strong suit, and that was something that was really hard for me, and I managed to get an A the second semester, so that was pretty good. And Mr. Spencer's classes are pretty challenging, so. I'd like to say a couple of my talents are hunting and archery. I enjoy both of those a lot. I actually just got a turkey on Monday for the first time, and that was really awesome because I called him in and everything by myself, and he came out of nowhere and kind of surprised me. But it was really awesome because he would strut around and stuff before I got to shoot him, so that was cool to see. One of the favorite memories that I can think of was in 9th or 10th grade in Mr. Martin's class. The room he had always kind of had a weird smell to it. No matter what day, there was a different smell, and it was usually not a good smell. And so he bought this air freshener spray thinking it would help. And we figured out that real quick that it was not helping. It actually made it way worse. So he got pretty inventive with it. So anybody who was doing something they weren't supposed to, or being loud, or not doing their assignment or whatever, he would just go over there and get the spray, walk over there to them with the biggest grin on his face, and spray them as their punishment. And it was just the funniest thing ever to watch him with that big grin on his face going over there and doing that. I'm planning on going to community college for 2 years to get all of my general classes out of the way, and then after that I would like to go to another university to further my degree in whatever I choose to do.
So Kaylee is a leader. There's no doubt in my mind. I've told her since she was a little girl that she was going to grow up and run something, whether it was her husband or a business, I'm not sure, but she's going to do it. She's just really strong. She knows what she wants, and she doesn't let anything stand in her way of getting there. She's also really compassionate, and if she sees a need, she finds a way to fill it or make it happen. So yeah, I think just her leader mentality is probably her best trait, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. My favorite memory of Kaylee would be when she was playing softball, and she was playing third base, and she took a line drive off the shed. Later that weekend, she was out in left field and had to cover third base, where a opposing player slid into her, cleated her on that same already very badly bruised shin. And she had blood coming down her leg. The other kid's cleat actually got stuck in Kaylee's cleat, and it tore her shoe on top of it. And later on that day, she got back in and she was playing, and she got bandaged up and back out there. It just shows her toughness and her ferocity.
A laughable moment would be when she was like 2.5, 3 years old. You know, they're just starting to pretend read their stories, and so she had a favorite story that I read to her, No David, and it's all about telling this kid naughty things not to do. And so she was known for her bossiness, surprise, surprise, and she loved to read the story, but very loudly tell David no. So we always got a kick out of watching her read No David. She has such an entrepreneurship mentality. She, at 18, knows what she wants and is already working to get it. She's been working really hard, starting her small business that she's been doing a good job at. So she's got herself business cards and learned how to do invoices, and this summer we plan on making her legit. So we're pretty excited and proud of her for that.
Kaylee's best gifts and character trait, probably how loving and loyal she is. She's a very dedicated person and really awesome.
She's a good daughter and an excellent big sister. After being a only child for 9.5 years, she stepped in and filled that role perfectly for her little brother. We love you so much, and we know God has great things for you. We can't wait to watch you on this next step of your journey. And I just want to leave you with Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding, which is hard for Jepsen. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path, and I don't doubt it. Love you forever, like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby, you'll be.
That's pretty good. Mine is, in the words of the late great Yoda, do or do not, there is no try.
We love you.
Love you.
So my favorite memory at LCA would probably be when my teacher, Mr. Martin, we were playing Oregon Trail because it was history, and we played like the zombie version of it. So we were playing and there were zombies coming out of like the fields and everything, and Mr. Martin figured out how to like shoot in the game, and he literally threw his arms up and ran around the classrooms cheering his head off because he was so excited. I would say that some of my greatest achievements would be, well, I've started my own business, so I think that's probably one of my biggest that I've been doing for a little bit now. I do a little bit of everything. I do like vinyl and stuff, so I make everything like personalized. I actually started off by doing like string art, but now I'm sticking to the vinyl. The most influential person that's been in my life would probably be my parents. They've just kind of pushed me to always do my best and give everything my all and just be all in all the time. My favorite memory is probably when we all had to clean up outside we were just kind of cleaning up, and we were walking around the school, and it was me, my friend Anna, and my now boyfriend Caleb, and we were walking around and I found a dead bird, and I was like, oh, there's no way he's gonna go pick that up, and I asked him to and he did it, and that's just kind of when we became friends, and now we've been together for almost 5 years. I would like to thank my parents and my boyfriend for my successes. Again, my parents have just kind of pushed me along and helped me out wherever it's been, and Caleb, he's been encouraging me to, like, I don't know, just whatever I want to do, he's been right there beside me, like pushing me to actually do it. My plans for the future is going to St. Charles Community College, and I'm gonna get my associates there, and then I'm hopefully going out to Warrensburg, UCM, and getting my major in business management and my minor in entrepreneurship.
Tara is a very hard worker. She got her first job at Stefanina's working in the kitchen as a cook, and you know, she worked some pretty long hours and came home smelling like pizza every night. And I went up to the restaurant a few months after she started working, and one of the owners approached me and just had mentioned what a great worker Tara was, and had made the comment that she wasn't like a lot of the other teenagers there, and she just was focused and did her work and never had to be told what to do. She also works in eKids, which is our church preschool, just about every weekend. And she's been doing that since she was about 11 years old. And she loves it, the kids love her, and while she's working with kids, it's still a lot of hard work. You know, sometimes she might have 30 kids in a classroom with 2 teachers, and she just has really stepped up and taken a leadership position in that role.
Tara's very loyal, so when you're her friend or she loves you, she's got your back. She likes to tell me when she teases me about it, and she will do anything for him, and she's very committed. Like Lisa was saying with church, when she tells them she's going to be there, she's there. There's no halfway for her with that. When she makes a commitment, she's going to follow through with it.
My favorite memory is from when Tara was little. She was about 3 years old, and we bought her first big girl bedroom set. And she was so excited and so grateful. She kissed the dresser, she kissed the bed, she kissed us for about 2 or 3 days and just thanked us over and over and was so grateful. And it was just so sweet, and those are some good memories to have when you're going through those teenage years.
Mine is when she was really little and she just started walking and learned she could run. And she'd always run full force, like, you know, think she's gonna fall over. She was putting so much exertion into it. And she was just so little, and it was just so cute. It brings a smile on my face when I think of it.
That's good.
That also reminds me of, we used to call Tara Skippy Girl because she used to skip everywhere up until she was probably 10 years old,
Yeah.
maybe even a little older. But she would skip from the car to the store, car to church. Anytime she got out of the car and she was anywhere, she would just skip. would say learning to drive a stick shift. She wasn't too happy about it when she was gifted a car from her grandpa, and it was a stick. But we had planned on making her learn on a stick anyway. Our son did as well, and we just think it's something good to know. So she wasn't too pleased about learning to drive a stick shift. There were some tears, there were some tense moments, but she did it and she accomplished it, and now she's happy that she knows how to drive a stick, and she doesn't even want to drive an automatic.
Yeah, mine was, she wanted to learn how to shoot a pistol. She'd been shooting rifles for a while, and after going through months of just training her on it, she finally was able to shoot it and be confident with it. So we competed in a pistol shooting match, and when we first got there, the shooting range marshals were very leery of letting a 12-year-old shoot, but at the end of the day they came up to me and said that was one of the most competent, well-trained 12-year-olds we've ever seen out here, and she did a great job. So she felt a sense of accomplishment, and I felt pride. And, you know, it was a very proud moment for me that she had done so well that they noticed.
Words of wisdom, I would just say follow the Bible. That's your blueprint for life, and God's got your best interest at heart. So He's given us the Bible to prevent us from making mistakes and showing us how to live. And of course we're going to make mistakes, and we're all going to have some rough patches, but just trust in the Lord.
I would say approach life like you used to approach running. Charge into it. You're going to go through hard times, we all do. Just get through them, because there's a better side on the opposite end.
Oh, my favorite memory would probably have to be getting the call that my nephew had been born 2 years ago almost, and getting to hold him for the first time. Like, just holding a little baby, you know, knowing like, oh, this is part of me, kind of, you know, just knowing it's family, and just, I don't know. I worked mostly through high school, so I kind of makes me proud to say that I worked, you know, while doing high school. Graduation will be a good achievement. Well, of course my parents have been really influential, just like for me going in the nursing field, seeing my dad being a firefighter, and like the hard work that they both put into like raising me and my brother, and working on rental houses, my dad working 2 full-time jobs, you know, my mom working a full-time job, just kind of like that good work ethic. I'd like to think. My parents, a lot of my teachers here, you know, a lot of mentors at my church, like Mel McKinney, and my Aunt Morgan has been a big influence in my life too. She's, you know, pretty great. And just kind of my friends too. I'm really good with little kids. I don't know, I'm pretty discerning, like when it comes to people and stuff, you know, I can kind of read people. Probably one of my favorite memories would be our teacher, Mr. Martin. The boys were kind of screwing around throwing pencils, and he said, okay, next person throws pencil is gonna get in trouble. And when somebody threw the pencil, he ended up kicking it out of the air and like breaking it in half. So we were all just kind of like, oh, what? You know? He was like, I didn't mean to do that. I want to go to SCA for 2 years to get my gen eds done, and then after that get my BSN in nursing. I haven't really decided a university yet, but kind of get that, and then do traveling nursing for probably 2 years, so travel around the US and then come back here maybe, or settle down wherever God has planned.
I'd say one of Jake's best character traits is he's like his dad.
Well, at least you're humble.
Now they know why he's like he is. I would reiterate on that, Jake's a very passionate kid. He's actually much more passionate than I ever been. He's kind of a combination of his mom and myself. He does care about people a lot. You don't always see that, but he's, you know, if somebody around the neighborhood once in a while needs something, he'll go do something for them. I can't get him doing much for me, but he is a caring person, but sometimes he's got a little bit too much passion, but that comes out of the family he's got.
The curly side of
He's
the
got
family.
it's the only way he could keep up with everybody else, his sisters and everybody. So, but he is a good-hearted kid. He really is. So,
athleticism is one of Jake's character traits. Although at 7th or 8th grade, when I watched him play basketball, I wasn't so sure that he was going to end up with that trait. I was pretty sure he wasn't going to carry that gene on. But so he's a pretty athletic kid. But one of the things that I think touches me the most is that most people don't see is Jake has a really sweet heart. And sometimes the world comes in and tries to take those things that God's gifted you with away, but Jake really does have a sweet heart. He really does. He loves people deeply. And I think that's the thing I cherish most with Jake. I think looking back with me, since sports is such a big thing for me, I would look back and think of all of his achievements in sports. And one of my favorite would be his no-hitter that he had last year that he pitched. But really, to be honest, and all those are great achievements, but my favorite memories are passing him in the hall and him giving me a hug almost no matter what age or what grade he was in, or coming in and sitting in my office and just talking to me. And that's probably my favorite memories.
My favorite memories with Jake, I've got a lot. Actually, most of ours evolve around hunting. I remember the first time he killed a deer with me with his gun when he was 6 years old. And it was kind of, when I was 6, if I could have went hunting like that and got a deer, I'd have been shaking, you know. And Jake, I had to convince him to shoot this deer because it wasn't what he was looking for. At 6 years old, you know, he's looking for this trophy buck, and I'm like, Jake, just get one under your belt, you know. So the deer almost got away from me. I thought it was too far, and I'm like, now you let it get too far. He's like, oh, I can hit it, you know how Jake is. So he shoots, deer hits the ground like that, and he just looks, turns around. I thought he'd be going, yeah, and he's like, then he'd say that, just give me the thumbs up. But we've had many times. When he killed a turkey with his gun when he was 6. He killed a deer with his bow when he was 9 or 10, and he went with me to Colorado. I killed a nice elk when he was 14. We won a bow hunt in Colorado. It's one after the other. Probably actually one that meant a really lot to me. I took him to New Mexico last year for his senior trip, and he finally killed an elk like his dad. But I was there with him. I got to be hunting with him when he shot his first elk last winter, so that was really cool.
Jake's not a real, he's not a real comedic, he's not a real funny kid, but he is with his buddies. I think the funniest thing, the thing that I see in him that is so much fun is seeing him hang out with his buddies. Every birthday, probably from 2nd or 3rd grade, all of his buddies would come over to the house, spend the night, and they'd have an airsoft war. We have holes in our siding from one of those, but just seeing him hang out with his buddies is pretty.
Not funny. So.
I don't know. We had fun.
Probably one of the funniest things, this would be a little off the wall, but when Jake was maybe 4 or 5, we went in town and I was filling my truck up with fuel. Then, you know how kids are, as soon as you stop somewhere, and he's like, Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm like, well, go. What do you want me to do? So I said, just go. And I was filling my truck up, and I turned around, and you know where they got them islands at the end of the pumps where there's kind of a flat spot? And it was right in Troy, there at the busy intersection, and I saw these people kind of laughing, and I thought, what's going on? I look over, and there's Jake standing. He's standing up on that island, just going to the bathroom, right in the parking lot, and then I'm like, Jake, I meant inside. So I'll probably never forget that one. I'll tell that at his wedding. I don't think he even realized it at the time, but I used to manage Jake's ball team when he was little. And we had a real rough start because they kind of gave us all the misfits. But probably the 4th year, we got into a game, and these people used to really come out just to beat us, you know. So one game, we had an issue with a coach. So I'm like, you know what, we're going to make this an interesting game. And Jake's cousin played with us too, and they could only pitch 4 innings. So I let Kyle pitch first 4 innings because I knew he could mow these kids down. And he struck every kid out for 4 innings. So Jake was my second pitcher. And so I said, Jake, just get in there and just let it go. I want you throwing strikes, mow them down. They literally struck every kid out. Jake came in and struck everybody out he faced, and I'm like, did anybody realize that was actually the first perfect game I ever seen? Every kid we struck out. I mean, they were, what were they, 10?
Yeah, Jake was probably about 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah, there was 10 or 11, but that was still an amazing feat. And I think everybody was so mad on the other team. They're like, what are y'all? So, but I thought that was pretty amazing. And he's had a couple of no-hitters the last couple of years, so.
Well, you know, almost all Christian parents that their kids are gonna leave the nest, and that is always put God first. And somebody said something to me the other day that Jake's thing was Hakuna Matata, no worries. But if you put that into a biblical sense, as you go out, if you really seek God and put Him first, you can lay your head down at night and know that God's got this, and you won't have any worries.
I would tell Jake, I'm going to go back to our baseball. I told this story at the
senior dedication down in Joplin this year, but one time we were back to his baseball days. We actually had a perfect record one year, and we were getting down to one of the last games, and the closer we got to winning the championship and never losing a game that year, to me, I'm like, I don't think these kids realize what we're getting into, because until they get to be older, they're going to look back on this. So I was kind of, we were going to the last game of the year for the championship, and they were running all over the place, you know, clowning around like kids do, and I'm like, get in line, stay in line. I grabbed Jake by the arm. I said, get over here. And I said, Jake, are you out here to have fun, or do you want to win this game? And he looked me in the eye, and he's like, Dad, can I do both? And I said, yes, let's try that. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I thought that was pretty amazing. He kind of spoke that into my heart, and I've never forgot it. So I'm going to turn his words back on him. Have fun, but always strive to do your best, and always strive to win, and have a little fun on the way. Love you, son. Just Love you.
We prayed that you would always be a man of integrity. Since you was a little baby, we started praying that for you. Have a love for the Word of God and always be a man of integrity. So keep striving for that, and I think you'll do fine.
My favorite memory would have to be going on all the hunting trips with my father, because you know, we get to spend good quality time together, and you know, every now and then we'll get an animal. But I'd say one of my top favorites would be our trip to New Mexico we took this year, and he kind of took me for a graduation present, and that was probably my favorite one because we both got an elk. So. The most influential person on my life, I'd just have to say my dad, because you know, he's always there to push me and just help me to do my best. My mom's the same way. I'd say both my parents are pretty influential on my life. You know, my mom, I think she helps me out with sports quite a bit. She's always there to help me and push me along with sports, and you know, I can talk to her if I need to. My dad's kind of one of those people. It's like, you're fine, suck it up. But my mom's like that too. But you know, she'll always listen to me. And my dad, he just always pushes me to work my hardest and give it my all, and just not be lazy, even though I am sometimes. I like to think for my successes, and I like my parents, they've helped me with quite a bit. My coaches, for sure. Butch, he always yelled at us, and you know, that's life. He was helping us with life, get used to it. We're gonna have bosses that will yell at us. Kenny, he for sure, he's like the fun one who'd always play with us. Butch would kind of just sit over there and yell at us on the sideline during practice. He might throw a chair every once in a while, but no, Kenny would get in there and rough us up a little bit and try to make us stronger. I'd say those 4 people were pretty influential in my life. Some of my greatest achievements. Getting my first deer when I was 6. The gun was taller than me when I was standing up. You know, shooting my first turkey too, that was pretty fun. I'd say with like sports-wise, you know, steals, I lead the school in steals, and to me that's a pretty big accomplishment. Because when I was younger, I'd always try to like worry about offense, and you know, my sister Erin, she's like, quit worrying about offense, the points will come, worry about defense. And ever since that, I would like try my hardest, like, all right, I'm gonna get some steals and I'll play hard defense, and I'd say my defense would be one of my best accomplishments for me. But talents are gifts. Hunting and fishing is a talent for me. I guess I'm a pretty good welder. I'll practice at it, I guess. Sports, that's about it. I don't have too many. Yeah, I'd like to thank just everybody who's helped me along the way through school and just pushed me to do my best, even though I'm not that great sometimes. I can be kind of mad, and you know, since I have anger issues a little bit, but you know, just with all the people that stuck with me, I'm happy for that and couldn't thank them enough. For the future, my plans are I'm gonna go to go to Lynn Tech in Lynn, Missouri. I plan on getting into heating, ventilation, and cooling, and I'll be there for 2 years, and then after that I'll probably try to work with a business for a couple years, and then me and my cousin want to try to start a business in heating and ventilation, and then maybe if it's God's plan to get married and have a family.
So my favorite memory about LCA or LCA involved was we went on a retreat like we go on every year, or used to go on every year, and we got off the bus, and me and my friend Andrew Voss were just super excited and ready to get going. So he took off running and I took off chasing him for something. I don't know if he hit me or I don't know what he did. But we're running and we round these tables, and there was brand new concrete that they didn't scratch, so it was that smooth like garage floor type stuff. And it got wet, so I was chasing him and my foot slipped out from under me and I just landed on a plastic chair, and the chair absolutely exploded, and there was a plastic piece stuck in my side about like a ½ inch maybe. So I like got up, it's sticking there, I like pulled it out, and Mrs. Baker ended up getting me patched up. I think that was one of the first times I've ever passed out from pain. I just kind of went into the kitchen and sat down and fell asleep. But I woke up with a pretty gnarly wound, and to this day I have like the coolest scar ever. I think it goes from my pec and like reaches around my back. So if you ask about it, I'll probably change my story, but that's what actually happened. I destroyed a chair. Who would I like to thank for my successes? God, obviously. Gave me everything I have. But specifically from him, he gave me great parents. I would have to just give it to my upbringing. They taught me everything I know, how to act, how to treat people, how to attack life. The most influential person in my life, besides the obvious answers like my parents and Jesus, who both get a ton of credit, and my brother and my sisters obviously, but someone who's kind of taken a lot of time out of their life for me and to mentor me, his name is Nathan Downs. He's my youth pastor. I think I went to youth there at Calvary one time, and he's like, hey, you want to go on a mission trip to Alabama with us? And from then on, it just seemed like if he had the opportunity to, he would take his time to just mentor me along, and he sacrificed a lot, so he's had a pretty big impact on me. Greatest achievements, I mean, I'm in high school, so I haven't changed the world yet, but winning state is a pretty big one. That takes a lot of commitment, I think, and I mean, it wasn't just me, that's my whole team thing, so I'll give them their credit. Boy State was a pretty big achievement for me. I went there, and it's like a mock government thing, and I made it all the way up to majority floor leader of the House of Representatives. That was pretty fun, especially competing with the best and brightest in Missouri, so that made me feel set apart at least, or I put a lot of effort into that, and it was pretty rewarding. And I think I've eaten 30 pieces of pizza at Pizza Street one time. That was pretty big for me. I'm told to say that being tall and blonde is my biggest talent and gift. But I think God made me a people person. If there's anything I can do, it's relate to people. Sometimes it's more of a burden, but I don't like to leave people out, and I think that's a big blessing that God gave me. My favorite memory just in general would be when my family and I went down to Gulf Shores, Alabama, and at night, if you've ever been on a beach, like those little crab things come out of their holes, and they run sideways, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So me and my brother were chasing around the crabs, trying to catch them with whatever we could, and that was pretty fun, just looking out and seeing the sunset, and then in front of you are a whole bunch of little crabs that you can try and kick and chase, so that was pretty fun for me. My plans for the future are blurry at best. I often joke with the other seniors that I could be anything from a hobo to an astronaut, and I'd be happy in either one. Just kind of depends on where God takes me, what I feel. So far, set in stone, I think I'm going to go to SCC just because it's cheaper. Definitely going to continue my education in some way though, and then hopefully find a job and raise a family.
One of my favorite memories of Mia is when she made snowmen in the backyard when she was about 3 years old. And she put the faces on top of the snowmen just so that she could see them from above.
That's right.
That's one of my favorite memories of Mia.
And she went in and got the little carrots.
She did. She did.
She's such a saleswoman. So I think my favorite laughable moment of Mia is she was always onto some kind of new entrepreneuring thing. She had nail salons, garage sales, spas, any kind of business. Mia has owned it, run it, hired all the people, and so true to her salesperson personality, she was down at the end of the driveway and she had set up all of her junk, her collectible items. And first she had this great attitude and an umbrella, and she's in a rocking chair and she's calling people to come look at her things. And by the end of the day, when she had given up because hardly anybody had stopped, she's like, all right, people, I'm just a little kid and I've been sitting on her all day and no one's buying any of my stuff. I remember thinking, well, she's stuck with it. So, I mean, all day we took her breakfast and lunch and she sat out there, and it was pretty funny.
Mia's greatest achievement, in my opinion, is she makes everybody around her feel loved. And she brings everybody joy. That is an achievement. And she really does do that everywhere she goes, doesn't she? It's a gift. So, yeah, that's a heck of an achievement.
Mia is literally the kindest person that you've ever met in all my life. She will find good in anybody or anything. She has an ability to pull good out of people that you can't even really see it. She can see gold, and she always stands up for the people that are the underdog. She fights for them. And she actually makes them feel significant. She can see value, and she has a way of pulling them out. She used to brag. Actually, this is probably one of my other favorite things. Is she was the ambassador for school at. She goes to school at Liberty, and she was the new kid. And she was explaining to a new parent that she was voted the most friendly person in the school, and that she would be her daughter's new friend. And I thought that was pretty funny that she was bragging on being the friendliest person. So,
I think one of her biggest strengths is she forgives easy. She really does. And it seems relatively effortless for her. And I know it's not, but she does it well.
It's true. And she does it completely. Like she doesn't just say, all right, that didn't happen. Like she just lets it go, and then it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
So
proud of her.
She's so artistic. I mean, she can make anything ugly beautiful. So she just got an ability to take something ordinary and make it extraordinary.
Mia, we're very proud of you. I know God's going to do mighty things with you. And Daddy loves you very, very much.
Gosh, well, you always say that your favorite scripture is to go into all the world and preach the gospel. So I would say go and do that, because that's what God's put on your heart. But He's put such a heart of a worshiper in you, so don't forget to always make Him first when you're doing that. And part of making Him first is the heart that you have for other people. So His heart and the heart that He's put in you together is a beautiful combination to go into all the world, but please don't go too far.
My favorite memory from LCA is probably my senior year. I got to be a teacher's aide, and it was more than being a teacher's aide. I really got to know the kids and be a part of their lives and just get to know them really well, and it became something that I really enjoyed doing. The most influential person in my life has probably been my parents, honestly, both of them, because they have endured so many different things, and I feel like I could never go through some of the things that they've gone through and still come out on the other side, because they always kept God first and they always made sure that that was like a #1 important thing. So I got to watch them walk through so many different things that I don't know that I could ever personally have made it through. My grandma has really been really awesome. I've seen she has endured so many things. A couple years ago she was diagnosed with cancer, and I watched her fight through it so beautifully, and I knew without a doubt that she was going to make it through. It was the way she just went into it with such a fight and trusted God the entire time, and we would actually even do victory laps around the hospital. And we knew we were going to come out on top, but she was always so encouraging to me and with everything, my entire high school, middle school, elementary school experience, and she's always been there cheering me on. So my future plans are, well, I'm actually currently attending Rhema Bible Training College in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I just finished my first half term, and I am absolutely in love with it. I couldn't ask for a better experience. I made so many friends like right off the bat, and I've gained so much knowledge and wisdom from my teachers, and really my relationship with God has gotten even better and better, and I can't wait to see where it goes, and I'm so excited for it. Oh man, some of my greatest achievements. Graduating high school, definitely for sure, but I would say my senior year has definitely been a year for coming out of my shell and becoming the person that I know I was supposed to be probably a lot sooner, but I had the opportunity to do worship at school this year and sing and do prayer and fasting with Mrs. Wilgus, and that was really an honor to get to do. And now I'm actually leading worship at junior varsity here in Tulsa for Rhema, so that's been a really awesome achievement to be able to make, because I went from being somebody who was very shy in front of people to just coming out of my shell and really giving God the glory for it, because it's definitely not in my own doing, because I am not a super outgoing person. So I got to be really close with a lot of the younger 7th and 8th grade girls, and I really got to know them and their heart, and I got to know them as people, and I had them over at my house a lot of times, and I actually got close to them to where it became like it was my friends. It wasn't me mentoring or whatever you would call it. It was like they became my friends, and I really have such a heart for middle schoolers now, and I feel like that's an age some people have a hard time with, and I just absolutely loved it, and I'm very thankful for it.